In this video, we're going to go over being obsessed with growth, right? I took a couple of notes, so follow along with me and make sure you watch this video all the way to the end. So let's get into it. We cannot halfway recover, just like Michael Jordan couldn't halfway play, right? I love Michael Jordan. I'm from South Side Chicago, and I was around doing all his championships, right? I was getting high and all that type of stuff, but I still remember how the city was in an uproar because we was like the best in the world or something, right? And it was a great thing, right? It was a great emotional time in Chicago. If you're from Chicago, you know how they shut the city down. Businesses closed, and some of them got broken into. It was crazy, but for the most part, as a city, we came together, right? But we're gonna talk about how we cannot halfway recover, just like Michael Jordan didn't halfway play, right? If you know anything about, AA, we talk about half measures avail us nothing, right? Half measures, we can't put half energy into what we're doing, right? We can't halfway recover. We just can't halfway go to meetings. When I talk about halfway go to meetings, just showing up to meetings and not, immersing yourself into the meeting, making comments, taking notes, paying attention to what the speaker is talking about, right? And even people that's making the comments, because that's what keeps me going, right? Not doing service work, right? Not showing up to the meetings and making the coffee, putting up the chairs, right? Helping people pass out the books and stuff like that. We just can't halfway do things because when I was out there in my madness, right? I didn't halfway smoke some crack. I didn't halfway go to the liquor store, right? I didn't halfway stand in the dope lines, right? I stood in line when the big gym shoe boy told me to shut up, get in line, don't have no change, we ain't taking no singles today, all that type of stuff. I didn't half measure. I did exactly what they told me to do. So in my recovery, I got to do the same thing. Hey, what's up, family? Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, it might be because I'm not a big creator yet. What I want you guys to do is press that like and that follow button and also hit that subscribe. So when I create a new video, you'll get notified. I create a video every week. If it's your second time or third time watching one of my videos, welcome back. I thank you guys for engaging in my content. And if you want me to focus on any type of topic in future videos, leave a comment or just leave a basic comment that read to recover, right? Because we're doing this together. I just don't do this for you guys. I do this for myself too as well. And it keeps me fresh in my recovery. It keeps me looking into the big book and also other books so I can get a refresher course on what I need to do for myself. Because by me making these videos, you guys are helping me stay sober. So hit that like button and also leave a comment, subscribe, and also hit that notification button. Michael Jordan practiced harder than anyone else. In recovery, that's our daily work. Meetings, self-checks, accountability, right? I talked about making the meetings, right? I make at least 3 meetings a week. Even though that I may not feel like it, that's when I push myself to go to a meeting because that's just my illness, my disease telling me it's okay, you can skip a meeting. You went to a meeting this week, but it's all bull crap, right? Self-checks, it basically means self-inventory, right? When I lay down at night, when I review my day, right? Did I harm somebody? Do I owe somebody an apology? These type of things. Did I do the things I need to do to stay in recovery today, to stay sober, right? Did I help somebody, right? That's what recovery is all about. Because today, I'm not a taker, I am a giver, right? Having accountability, being accountable for my actions. Did I wrong somebody? Did I do the best job I possibly could do today, right? Just not in my job, with my family. This is something I'm kind of bad at myself. I'm getting better at it, calling my family, right? On a day-to-day basis, or at least a couple of times a week, reaching out to people that's in recovery to see if they're okay. Because it's not all about me. Sometimes I can just check on a person and ask them how they're doing, and they might be going through a rough patch. And by me just conversating with them, I can help them. It's one alcoholic or addict helping another. We're going to go to a big book reference, and we're on page 85 in the big book. Just to let you guys know, I'm not an expert at the big book. I don't represent AA. I just like the AA material, right? And I also go to meetings, right? On page 85, into action, it says, it is easy to let up on a spiritual program of action and rest on our laurels, right? We are headed for trouble if we do so, for alcohol is a subtle foe. We are not cured of alcoholism. What we have is a daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance of our spiritual condition, right? Just like Michael Jordan, on a day-to-day basis, he stays sharp by staying in the gym, right? He went in there and shot free throws all day, probably thousands of free throws, just like Steph Curry, right? When he went to the workout, he was there 2 hours before everybody else, right? And he was still there when everybody left, 2 hours afterwards. Instead of just practicing one time a day, he practiced 2 or 3 times a day, right? So he can stack those habits on top of on this last one, so he can outwork everybody. So when he got in the game, he was physically fit, right? Conditioned, right? So he had a defense against what? For us is that next drink, right? So we have to stay vigilant in what we're doing, and be mindful that we're staying with our actions that we take it in recovery, right? Because we can't rest on our laurels. I can't stay sober from the actions and the things I did from yesterday, right? I have to do something today. I have to put something in the bank for tomorrow, right? Because my recovery is only contingent what? On my spiritual condition with my higher power, right? We all know that. So, but this is just a reminder, just not for you, but for myself. When I wake up in the morning, I have to do my prayer, my meditation, right? I have to do my Jesus calling. I have to do all these things before I interact with people. I don't know for you guys, when I wake up in the morning, it's crazy how all these negative things just come into my mind, right? And I have to combat that. Sometimes I throw on some spiritual music, and I just stay to myself and be quiet for a little while, right? And I pray. Then I meditate so I can listen to the answer from God. I love Michael Jordan, right? Everybody knows. Jordan turns every failure into fuel. And we can too, right? Every relapse, every setback, every loss, it's not the end. It's just a training ground, right? I hear a lot of people say that, relapse is part of recovery, right? I'm just gonna keep it real with you guys. Relapse is part of my story and probably part of the story for a lot of people. But I know a lot of people that never relapse. They got it the first time, right? We call them nilly vanillis, right? One hit wonders, right? So you don't have to relapse, right? To stay sober. So that's a misconception that people say that, for you to relapse, for you to have long-term recovery, you have to experience relapse after relapse. And that's bull crap, right? Because today, the way things going, they got all this type of extra stuff in the drugs, right? I see a lot of people, they don't get another chance. Right? So we have to stay vigilant, right? We have to do what the people before us, the first 100, and also hundreds of thousands, what they're doing to stay sober today, right? But we don't just have to just stay sober. We have to get to the next level in our recovery, right? And we're going to talk about that further on in this video and also other videos. So make sure you guys come back. Now we're going to go to page 147 in the big book where it says acceptance was the answer, right? When I am disturbed, it is because I found some person, place, thing, or situation, some fact of my life unacceptable to me. What? Absolutely nothing happens in God's world by mistake, right? Pain becomes purpose when we accept it and grow from it, right? I'm getting to the point in my life, in my recovery, where I don't look at things as good or bad. It just is, right? And there's lessons in every part of my life, right? Especially dealing with relationships. That was my biggest thing was dealing with people, right? And I'm learning how to accept people for who they are. For me, it's easier, and it's very easy to have some acceptance, some patience and tolerance with people that are in recovery or people that's in my family, my loved ones, my friends. But it's challenging for me to have some acceptance and tolerance and patience with people that I don't know. So that's the part of my level of my recovery, which I'm working at today. And I'm very transparent about everything that I'm going through. So I'm just teaching you guys or showing you guys what I'm going through. So maybe you can maybe work on that too as well. It's up to you, right? Going to page 64, how it works. We all know this one, right? Recovery starts when we stop blaming and start transforming pain into progress, right? Anytime there's something bad that happens in my life, right? I just recently had a sister that passed away, right? She went into the hospital and she stayed in there for a month. She started just deteriorating and stuff like that. And what I started doing was I put more fuel into my life. That's when I really went harder on YouTube and doing long form videos, because I wanted to reach out and help people. So I know the enemy wanted our family. I have some strong people in my family, strong women, right? That we talked about it like, are you going to take off your day from work tomorrow, right? Because we had some bereavement days. Even my boss said, you can take off work. But as collective, we was like, no, we can't stop living. Because that's what the enemy wants us to do. He wanted us to sit back in our bed, balled up in the fetal position and crying, oh, I miss my sister. I miss her and I love her to death, but she didn't want me to sit back. She was a strong individual, right? So she didn't want me to sit back and let the enemy win. I'm not going to do that. So I'll push forward. So what I did, I started going harder on my social media so I can reach out and help more people. And that's what gave me fuel to the flame, because I was half doing it at first. Right? I was just doing videos here and there, but now I'm doing one every week and making clips. So make sure you guys come back, right? This is just what we do. And also I had examples of people that was in recovery that when they father died, their husband died, their mama died, when their cousin got shot, this and that other, guess what? They showed up to a meeting. Even when people, there's one guy, not to break his anonymity, but he showed up to a meeting on the anniversary that his mother passed away. He worked for the CTA, he was driving, and he just remembered that it was the day that his mother passed the year before, right? And he called his supervisor and said, hey, I need to get off work. I'm going through this. I need to go to a meeting. Pulled over the bus. Somebody else came on to finish his shift. And he was at a meeting telling his story. So I had examples of what to do. Today, he's still sober. And every time I see him, man, I remind him that he showed me that through his actions, right? So I know what to do. They gave me tools, right? So I don't have to sit back and be into my feelings, right? I got feelings I got to deal with because all feelings are valid, but I don't have to like waddle in them, right? Because they gave me tools. Because if I start waddling in my feelings, right, just sitting there and marinating in my feelings, guess what I'm going to do by default? Because I'm an addict, I'm an alcoholic. Sooner or later, I'm going to want to feel better. And by default, what I know how to do, put something on top of it. So I have to have more control of my emotions. Emotional sobriety is the most important thing for me in recovery these days. It's not about picking up the drink or the drug, because that was my solution back in the day when in my madness. That was a solution to me not feeling the pain, the grief, the resentments. You know what I mean? All those sad things that I didn't want to feel, right? I put something on top of it so I wouldn't feel it, right?